Hello there, boys and girls. So, this half term, we want you to learn a poem. Now, it's really important when you learn a poem that you don't just say the words. What you're actually trying to do is not to read the poem, but to perform the poem. And hopefully, what you're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks is starting to understand the words that you're reading and basically starting to react to the words. So they're not just words, but they're a meaning and they actually stand for something. On the left hand side of your screen, what you can see right now is an example of one of the poems. This is If by Rudyard Kipling. Have a look and it says, the first verse on the left hand side here, it says, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. Over this side, that left hand side of the screen here, you can see all of that first verse. What I've done is I've just suggested this is one way in which you can learn the poem. You can just black out half of the line. So when you start to get more confident in knowing the poem, to challenge yourself, you may only actually need half of the first line, and then you might be able to work out what the rest of it says. So eventually, you can move on to just having that first word, which will give you a hint as to what the rest of the line should be able to say. But not yet. That may take a few weeks of you practicing and practicing and practicing. Now, when you actually perform the poem, there's different ways in which you can do it. And right now, if I asked you to read a poem to me, you'd more than likely read in one of these 5 ways. Can you see those on the right-hand side of the screen there? You've got the red number 1, the orange number 2, the yellow number 3, the green number 4, and the blue number 5. These are different levels. Now, let me give you an example as to what the quality of each of these levels actually mean. So number 1 is I can read the poem aloud using the same single tone. So this is an example of that level 1. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. So we call this reading a poem aloud using the same single tone. Note how my voice didn't go up and it didn't go down, it stayed the same tone all the way through. Now that's how most people would read a poem about your age when they first start learning one. Level 2 is when you make your voice rise and fall as you read the poem aloud. So listen to the difference with level 2. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. So can you see the slight difference in that sometimes my voice goes up, if you can keep, as you read the poem aloud. To move on to level 3, what you're doing is you're actually reading the punctuation and show that you are personally controlling the pace. The slight difference between level 2 and level 3 would be this. If you can doubt when I'll start again. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. So they're very subtle differences, but level 3 is just acknowledging the punctuation. Level 4 is when you take it a little bit further, a little bit more dramatically. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or be lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. So what you're being there is slightly more dramatic and really starting to understand. And that's the key word as you move up the levels. You're beginning to understand the words that you're saying. And you are reacting to what you're saying by showing you understand the content. And that's the difference with your level 5. You react to what you're saying, you show you understand the words, and you understand what the poem means. So a level 5 of if would sound something like this. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. Best of luck in learning your poem. The best advice I can give you are 3 things. Practice, practice, and practice. The more you practice, the better you will get, and you will know what words are coming next. And very confidently, you will become in reading the poem aloud. As soon as you start to know the poem aloud, you can then start to perform and you can then start to practice reading it in different voices and reading it in different pace and saying it in a different sort of way until you're happy that you know the poem very, very well. Try to see if you can learn the poem over the next 7 days. That's the really, really big, most important key thing that you can do. Once you've done that, boys and girls, the sky is the limit, and you too will be able to perform and read a poem beautifully like we know you can. Best of luck. We look forward to seeing how well you do.